Guys, e-commerce is now slow commerce.
So e-commerce is now called slow commerce.
It's called slow commerce. I got into the quick commerce space by accident. We were running cloud kitchens and you know that, right?
I remember that.
You remember that. You very vividly remember that piece, right? It just so happened that we just kept evolving as a business and one fine day realized we're a quick commerce enabler. We're enabling same-day deliveries for D2C brands. And fast forward today, we run almost 80 dark stores, 150,000 square feet under the roof, enabling almost 20,000 orders a day across 30, 60, 90, 120-minute deliveries, enabling 175 plus sellers, marketplaces, e-com businesses, legacy businesses. Today, two very close friends on the right hand side, Arjun Vaidya, V3 Ventures, World Invest, Dr. Vaidya's. I think he has a bunch of stuff.
No, but most importantly, early back of Zippee.
That's another card on your sleeve. On the left hand side, I have Jaisha from VTrans. He's a third gen from the VTrans group. It's a 2,000 crore logistics company which also does logistics, warehousing, trucking. At any point in time in India, you will find 20,000 of his vehicles as moving dots on the.
So where our
on
job
the map.
ends, your job begins.
Where your job ends is when we start picking and packing. And today we're sitting inside a dark store, which is essentially picking, packing, processing all of your orders, which reach you in 10, 12, 14, 16, 30 minutes. And guys, today we're going to be speaking about specifically 2-3 things, right? And these are very unanswered questions that you guys and the audience watching us today will not find on their reels, on their shorts, or in textbooks. When you place an order for a 10-minute delivery or a 30-minute delivery or a same-day delivery order on a D2C brand's website, what goes behind that order while it reaches you in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and on the same day is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about India's speed story. We're going to be talking about India's 2025 versus 2015 consumption story. And we're also going to be talking about what next. What are the spaces that we're looking at which are going to be disrupting verticalized quick commerce over the next couple of years?
This is only my second experience inside a dark store. And
How was the first one?
most people watching this conversation would never even see the inside of a dark store, the experience and what goes in the journey. All this is the order delivered at their home
Absolutely. And in minutes.
in minutes.
This is as raw as it can
As
get,
it can
basically.
be. Yes. On the left hand side, we have the entire storage area of all the SKUs that we're holding in this dark store. On the right hand side, we have the entire bulk storage where all the inventory comes inside, right?
How long did it take you to set up this whole dark store from the day you got the mandate?
I think end to end, when we set up dark stores, it takes anywhere between 7 to 14 days, right from scouting the site, setting it up, doing the infrastructure, doing the communication network, CCTV cameras, packing station cameras, dry run, call for inventory, all of that takes end to end 14 days in a store which is between 1,000 to 2,500 square feet. And as the store size increases, the timeline marginally grows. Let's quickly reflect on the last 3-4 years. What really happened, right? Zepto went live, Grofers got rebranded to Blinkit. Swiggy stores became Instamart. That's what we call it today. Flipkart had 2 or 3 different entry points into the quick commerce space. The final one clicked. The final one clicked with the current store count of about 200-ish. It has clicked. It's now in the top 4, top 5 list, right?
And Amazon's still out.
Amazon is still not entered they've not entered the party. They're very slow to the party. I think 18, 19 stores live as of yesterday's count, with plans of going to about 50 in the next couple of months. But no aggression.
The bus has already passed.
The ship has sailed.
So look, I think I was reading a interesting tweet yesterday on the consumption change after COVID, right? And I think the last 4 years have been the most drastic in terms of change in Indian consumer behavior. E-commerce is now slow commerce. YouTube is now TV. OTT is now cinema. I can't remember the last time I've been to cinema. Grocery is completely or very close to completely in urban modern India moving to quick commerce. And essentials impulse purchase has become second nature. So just just think about behavior in relation to the way we live our lives now, right? So I went for a game of football. From that game of football, I directly had to go for a dinner, right? I finished the game of football. I've gone into the shower at the football ground and realized that I have to wear sneakers, but I've forgotten my socks. Without thinking, I've gone on Zepto. I've ordered a pair of white socks and a protein bar. Finished my shower, put on those white socks, gone to my car, had the protein bar and got to my dinner. Right? The amount of family fights that used to happen before
Over
a
forgotten
puja.
things.
No, before a puja. The biggest thing is a puja. चंदन नहीं मंगाया, तिलक नहीं मंगाया, ये अगरबत्ती है कि नहीं है, हल्दी है कि नहीं है, लड्डू किसी ने नहीं मंगाया, मैंने आपको बोला था, आपने उनको बोला था, किसी ने मंगाया नहीं. And before an auspicious time, there's always a family fight. No, I told you, I told mom, I told Dadi, I told you to do it. How come you forgot? अभी पंडित ने पूजा स्टार्ट किया, अभी कैसे लेट आ सकता है? वो पूरा हमारे देश से निकल गया है. And so the last 4 years for me are the largest leapfrog behavior in change in consumption pattern in India that we have ever seen.
But I think that's the way consumption changed, right? Did consumption grow? Do you feel your consumption from a wallet spend grew in the last 4 years, or the way you consumed grew?
I see definitively my consumption pattern increase because think about it, right? You're having dinner, you forgot to order dessert. In the past, in life as I was growing up, and I wanted ice cream on a Sunday night, mom would have to drive to Baskin Robbins, then she'd say, Abhi raat ho gaye, barish aa rahi hai, I don't want to go to Baskin, etc. All of that. That is not possible, plausible, and can be ordered in the beginning of dinner and had without waiting at the end of the dinner. That time when you think I want it, but 1 घंटा लग जाएगा, फिर मैं सो जाऊंगा तो नहीं चाहिए. That ice cream is coming to you now. That sparkling water which you want just because you feel like wanting it is coming to you right now. That epigamia yogurt that you want as a midnight craving or 11 o'clock
for
craving,
breakfast.
or for breakfast is coming to you right now. I think there's two big changes. One, that impulse is becoming a reality, which a lot of times people said, abhi nahi available hai, to main nahi consume karunga. That's number one. Number two, given that delivery fees, convenience fees, and the creation of super saver type carts exist, because of Indian consumption behavior towards discounts, a lot of times I'm pushing myself to say, oh,
Let me push my cart to 1,000.
Let me push my cart to...
Let me save that 50 bucks.
Why 1,000 is gone?
400,
It's 699 and 399.
400.
That's where Super Saver has come down to, because initially only Zepto had Super Saver. Now that everybody has Super Saver, it's a race to the bottom again.
DMart in 10 minutes.
And so you're adding one or two things to your cart, you're discovering new brands in the process, and definitively consumption is up. In the ice cream category specifically, where I'm an investor, one, there has been a massive move towards QCOM. But number two, now, is India consuming more dessert? I don't have that data. But the ice cream segment has grown by 1,000 plus crores every year because of quick commerce existence.
Because that convenience has come in.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
The
Because it
convenience of
allows
ice
you to
cream on a
get
click
that
has come
product
in.
on a click.
But with Instagram Reels, with quick commerce coming in, there's more instant gratification that we are craving for. It could be in tangible way through a quick com deliveries. It
through
could
a
be
checkout.
intangible through a Instagram or any of these other social media apps, I feel.
There's a weird thing, you know. I get excited every time I'm placing an order on QCOM. I placed 100 orders on QCOM now.
Maybe more.
But every time I place an order, that dopamine hit, that I enjoy the journey of navigating, because at the end, that dopamine hit you get, that 8 minute mein aa raha hai, ki 10 minute mein aa raha hai, it feels like a game to me.
Do you think it's similar to what you feel when you're walking down the aisles of the supermarket in, like, if you're in India or abroad, maybe you
With
know,
a trolley or a
with a
basket
trolley,
in the
and you're
hand.
just picking up items from the shelf or something? Do you feel it's similar?
I don't remember the last time I went to a supermarket. I'm different, but I'm 100% e-commerce consumer. My wife and I just came back
Are
from
or also were?
I am 100% e-commerce consumer, I would say, since 2019-20.
6-ish years.
But we went for a vacation to London recently. And I have some close friends who live in Dubai, so we go with our baby to Dubai a lot. I remember for New Year's I went to Dubai and we entered Dubai Mall and both my wife and I had not been to a mall in a really long time. We promised never to go back to that mall ever again because there were so many people, there was so much crowd, it took 30 minutes to get an Uber. I said, I never want to go through that experience again.
Especially when you're going outside and you're leaving the mall. It's going to take you
And
at
so-
least
Yeah,
30,
the
45
logistics
minutes.
of-
When we went
managing
to
that.
London for this trip, we did zero offline shopping. Zero. Means I brought back nothing other than the e-commerce shopping that I did while I was in London on ASOS that I delivered to the house I was staying at. That's all. I do not want to enter.
So no Beaster Village, nothing like that.
Nothing. Zero.
Zero.
Not interested.
Okay.
They are also available online.
Yeah,
There are ways to get it
absolutely.
online. I don't want to go.
But you're talking about consumers shopping in minutes, you're talking about impulse coming to life. But if you zoom out in India's entire story, do you think all of this is going to work in 400 cities? Zomato was a 400 city story, is now a 1,000 city story. Do you think Blinkit is also set for a 400 city story? And I ask you this for two reasons. One, as you move beyond the first 50 cities, there is conscious consumption and conscious spending. There is less density, there is less vertical density, and cities are smaller.
I think it's a very good question. I don't have the answer, honestly.
But what do you think?
Forget 400 city business. Is quick commerce a 200 city business in India? I have
3 years ago, it was 10 cities, and I could not believe it to be 50 cities. Today it's 50
and today it's
cities.
50 cities, right? So let's first start by saying that everything about quick commerce has absolutely smashed our assumptions.
Correct.
I was fortunate or unfortunate to see the Zepto seed pitch, which I passed on and I lost. If I think about it, opportunity cost of that
Was it
money
called
is
Kirana card? that
very,
day?
very high Kirana card.
2020.
And I just said, this is not possible. 2021, I got the pitch. I said, this is just not possible. In 4 years, that industry is now $7 billion.
And growing.
$7 billion is more than 50,000 CR of consumption out of thin air. Now, I believed it was a 3-5 city, then 10 city play. It's gone to 50
Density
cities
was
now.
seeming, okay, market size.
You're out there basically.
But I think the model may change slightly. And you know, when we started this podcast or conversation, we talked about 30, 60, 90, 120, right? And so in a city like Mumbai, for example, my view is that while groceries, essentials, impulse purchase products will all be in the 15-minute radius, because that's what you require in the maximum 30-minute radius. The fashion, the baby essentials, the
Gifting.
lifestyle products, the gifting products,
Pharma.
the home products. Pharma still may need the 15-minute delivery. Health supplements, protein powder.
The health
For that, you may not need the 15-minute delivery. And so the creation, which is already happening, right, in cities,
The Swiggy mall stores.
the mall stores, the super stores, which do a
The mega
60 to
stores.
120-minute delivery across the city. And if you look at our city of Mumbai, within 2.5 hours, you'll pretty much get everywhere, even
Corner
in
to
traffic,
corner,
in
corner to
rain,
corner,
right? And
corner to
so
corner.
maybe the 65th city and the 78th city and the 100th city and the 200th city may not have
10 minute.
10, 15 minute, they may have 60-minute delivery.
They may have 30
And
minute.
30-minute and 60-minute delivery, and those consumers may be okay with that as well. They're not as impatient as Madhav and Jay. They're more in the Arjun bracket of patience.
Also, to add to that, I mean, when quick commerce has recently started after around COVID time, I would say, we were apprehensive. Do we need stuff in 20 minutes and 10 minutes? Who needs a Maggie or something, you know?
But if
But
we ask
now we
ourselves
need it.
today.
Now we need. Now
we
we've
need
been
it.
habituated big time on the quick commerce app.
I can tell you some behavior, right? Some strange behavior. So I was leaving for a flight to Europe 2 weeks ago, right? And I got home from work at 9 p.m. and I had to leave for the flight at 10:45 p.m. Of course, at 9 p.m. I had a call till 9:45, and then I had to have dinner. As I'm having dinner, I've realized I've not printed my ticket,
visa.
hotel confirmation, passport copy, etc., which is asked at immigration in Europe. Also, I've forgotten my melatonin because I was going for a friend's bachelor trip, and so I had to be awake the next day. So I had to sleep on the flight. In previous times, I would panic at that point because I had to leave for the airport. And the first instance was panic. But then I realized actually,
You don't need to panic.
I just don't need to panic. I go on Blinkit, I print out the documents, I order the melatonin, and it's with me in 15 minutes. And I still have 30 minutes to leave for my
Well
flight.
before you have to leave for the airport.
Now, that thing of, अरे अभी प्रिंटर किसके घर में है, मेरा प्रिंटर में पेपर जैम हुआ है,
My
कार्ट्रिज
cartridge
खत्म
is
हुआ है,
full.
बिल्डिंग के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे आप
All
मैसेज
of
कर
those
लो.
conversations are out.
They're dead.
Yeah, they're all
All of those
out.
conversations
Yeah.
are out.
I'll give you one example as well. I was talking to one of my school friends. He was traveling to Ooty a couple of months back with his family.
Yeah.
Now, Ooty apparently is a plastic-free city. So while he was packing and leaving for the airport to go to Ooty eventually, they figured it's a plastic-free city and all. He ordered a non-plastic water bottle from Blinkit, which came in maybe in 10-15 minutes, I would be guessing. And they left for the airport. And they're like, we carry that bottle throughout the Ooty city because they're very strict about the plastic over there. They ask you to remove it and then they have to discard the plastic. Now imagine this kind of a use case. This is so unique to all of this.
Amazing.
It actually happened.
And this question's for you, right? Jay, on the seller side, how do you think life has changed? 30 years ago, retail was a super launchpad for brands.
correct.
Maybe 15ish years ago, e-com was that launchpad. 5 years ago, when you were building your business, D2C was that launchpad. And 3 years ago, tables turned again. Quick commerce is the launchpad.
Correct.
And it still is. I know brands who have just gone live as recently as 1, 2, 3 weeks ago.
Correct.
And the first thing they're live on is Blinkit. The second thing they're going live on is Swiggy Instamart.
Right.
The third thing is D2C. It can wait.
And Zepto?
Of course, Zepto is also on the cards. Right? And then Blinkit, Zepto, Instamart is P0 priority. People have not yet started focusing on the minutes, the Amazon Now and the BB Now. Right? Because
That's what it's called, Amazon now.
it's called Amazon Now. I think it was called Amazon Tez 2-3 months ago. I think the branding has changed now. But what are your thoughts on the seller mindset?
You mean the brands basically?
The
selling
brands.
Yeah. I think after talking to and after being in the sales part of things, I've been talking to so many clients of late. They want to be omni-channel for sure. They don't want to escape offline for sure. They're like, there's something we'll never dismiss because that's also where the real India is still is, It's still 90% sales still happens offline.
Yeah.
Of course, it's gonna like plateau at some point. Quick commerce is growing multifolds. But they're like, we want to now differentiate our products for the online channel, which is the quick commerce, and also have a different channel for offline, which is still happening at the same time. What they're also telling me is they're getting real feedback from the retailers and wholesalers as to what people's preferences are. They're getting more choices also still rate on the FMCG, but they're like, we cannot now ignore quick com. Although it might be a cash burn for these guys where they're not able to make that much money on the quick com platforms, but that's something they're like, we cannot ignore now. So they want to be omni-channel is what I would say. But again, doubling down on the quick commerce story.
India is such a big country. Omni-channel story will always continue to thrive.
Look, the reality is that
You don't need to have a digital first story.
92 or 93% of retail is still offline retail, right?
Still offline.
But that number was 99%
20 years ago.
10 years ago. 10 years ago. E-commerce is also not so old in India. When I came back in 2013,
10, 12.
2013 when I came back, Myntra was just about raising its Series A, Series B.
Jabong, Myntra.
12 years ago. So we are not, it's not like some crazy long history. It feels like long history.
It feels like long because we've evolved faster. We've evolved fast.
But I will say one thing on QuickCom, right? You said that brands want to list on Zepto, Blinkit, Instamart as their P0. It is extremely hard to list on quick
That's
commerce
my
today.
next question. Why it's such a big risk? Because I see so many brands left, right, and center. 60-70% of the top line is coming in from 2-3 platforms.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
No, but that's a business risk. It's a platform risk.
Commerce
There's an arm
business.
twisting opportunity
Sure.
there.
Think about an e-commerce business today, right? I think every VC investor was pushing brands D2C करो, D2C करो, D2C करो. मेरे ज़माने में मैंने D2C किया भी है.
और धंधा
But
बनाया.
वो ज़माना और आज का ज़माना में ad cost is very different. And so actually now investors are saying, I want a profitable P&L with positive contribution margin and I want
However you do
bottom
it.
line. And वो marketplace ही बन रहा है. Because Facebook, Meta पे जाके D2C advertising करना बहुत expensive है. तो dependence on channel is not best case or maybe suboptimal, but it's the only option, right? If you try to do your own quick commerce in 10 minutes across 50 dark stores in Bombay, unless your Unilever and your demand is that strong, it's going to be hard for you to aggregate that kind of demand. So my problem is not 60-70% revenue, which we're seeing across platforms, which by the way, in 5 years ago, India was Amazon or Flipkart focused brands.
Amazon, Flipkart, maybe the next 2-3.
Let's say you're a personal care brand, maybe Nykaa. The bigger problem for brands is actually twofold. The first problem is if you are not top of mind, VC funded, have been on a TV show like Shark Tank, there is a massive line out the door to get listed on quick commerce platforms. We're sitting in a dark store today that has 300, 400 unique SKUs.
2000.
2000 unique SKUs, but number of brands maybe 300-400.
Did do so.
Yeah, 200 brands. There are 1000 brands who want to get into this dark store.
Another 5,000 was sitting on that wait list.
So I'm saying 1000, 5000 was sitting on the wait list. And so what quick commerce has started looking like is what modern trade looked like or looks like today, which is there's a massive line of people out the door. There's only limited shelf space. With the limited shelf space, I have to choose who I want and who I don't want. And if I want you and there is demand for you and there are 500 searches a month, I will let you in. But if there are not 500 searches a month and you want to come in, I will charge you to enter my platform. I will take a guaranteed
bags of money.
I will take a guaranteed marketing amount from you for the
next
first
1 year.
3 to 6 months, maybe 1 year. I will take a very, very high margin from you. And so with a 45% margin, I'm just making up numbers right now.
Deemed way
With
to
a
say no.
45% margin, a 2 lakh per SKU listing fee, and a yearly marketing plan
30,
of 50
40
lakh
lakh
rupees.
rupee.
Goes up to 50-60 lakhs. also
How
I've
are
heard.
you going to make money is the question.
Or when will you ever make money?
And because it's a vicious cycle where you have to be on the platform, and if you're not on the platform, you're losing sale. But if you're on the platform, you're doing business at very poor unit economics, negative unit economics. Where does the brand go today?
We're seeing a lot of brands build their own quick commerce verticals.
Like which brands would those be?
The largest ones, the Fridos, the Ultra Humans, the Epigamias, right? Their quick commerce doesn't mean 30, 60, 90, 120. Their quick commerce may mean 2 hour. The Capivas, the Plixes, right? Their quick commerce is 30, 60, 90, 120, 4 hour same day delivery. But that's absolutely fine. It works for the economics. It works for the volumes. They have the volumes. The new age D2C brands don't have volumes on the website. The
So then what do you do? I understand for a brand that's northwards of 100 crore that has demand that's saying, I want
On
to
the
save
website.
that 10%. Even not on the website, but they have the demand, they can bring that to the website because there's customer recall, etc. All of that, right? So those brands, of course, will create their own quick commerce to save that 10%, 20% margin. But the brands that can't aggregate the demand, what do they do? What does a new brand do today? Do they have to go and lose money?
There is cost of launching business,
Cost of launching business.
not cost of doing business. Cost of launching business can go down. Cost of doing business can never go down. Cost of launching business can be in the first 20 lakhs being pumped to bring the first 10 SKUs in the top 10 cities on a quick commerce platform. But cost of doing business is that commission that you mentioned. Once set, rarely goes down.
And also to add to that, I've come across clients, I've told you also, I've asked you for help also. There have been some clients telling me, you help me list on Blinkit and I'll give you business.
It's a business in itself.
Imagine.
There are people running
There are agencies.
that are saying,
There are agencies.
I will get
Bhai,
your
5
listing
lakh
done.
do,
हाँ.
Blinkit pe listing low.
Yeah, and you take the business, you take away the entire business for me. So imagine. It's a different vertical now, that's been coming up.
But what's actually coming out of all of this is that from a seller side, over dependence on quick commerce, while it drives traffic, it drives volumes, right? But over dependence on the top 3, 4, 5, 6 platforms is going to be a posed risk over the next 2, 3, 4 years. And hence, the D2C story is not going anywhere. It may only be limited to 10, 15, 20% of top line. But there still is a huge focus on their own platform where they own the customers, they own the experience, they own the customer journey. And they're trying to expedite that customer journey from the checkout to the delivery, trying to bring it down to a same day delivery and further down to a 2-hour delivery.
No, I will always say that if you can aggregate your own demand and you are able to bring customers to your own platform, there is nothing more powerful in the world than owning that data. Because you have the name, phone number, email address, and buying preference of that customer, which you can keep for life, cross-sell them, upsell them, and make them truly loyal to your brand. So if you're able to do it, and you're able to create your own quick commerce infrastructure, which you need to do today, by the way. If you say Zepto is delivering the product in 15 minutes and I'm delivering it day after tomorrow, you're dead. There's no way the customer's going to buy from you. But if you say Zepto is delivering in 15 minutes and I'm delivering in 1 hour, and by the way, I'll give you a 10% additional discount or I'll give you loyalty points, etc., the customer may in certain categories order.
May experiment and may sort of end up experimenting.
The biggest driving force for customers in a D2C platform would be the range that they can get, right? We close Urban Platter right now. Urban Platter has like thousands of SKUs, I would say.
Which they can't list on quick commerce.
Which they can't list. Yeah. So they have to have a strong
brands with a large SKU portfolio may need to be on their own website or create their own infra because there are only 10, 15, 20 SKUs or 50 SKUs at best that a QCom company would take for
them. List for a particular brand. In very rare cases, they may go up to 70, 80, right? But mostly it's between 5 to 20. That's typically the range. Quickly zooming out, circling back, I think for the audience, it's super important to know numbers and economics of how quick commerce, the brands and the dark stores operate. And I want to change roles now. Now, Jay and Arjun are going to ask me questions on how does a dark store work? Cost of storing an SKU, cost of processing an order. And beyond cost, I think what's more interesting for everybody out there watching us today is in a 10-minute order, how does time work? How do you break down time?
So I'm actually most interested after I place my order because the order does reach me in maximum 15 minutes, right? So it has to leave the dark store ASAP.
Which I will tell you.
So what happens the moment I place an order until it reaches my home?
So how a 10-minute delivery works, come on, I'll show you.
I was asking you, from the minute I place the order and it reaches my home in 10 minutes,
okay,
what happens from that moment till it reaches my home?
You place the order at 9:57 a.m. in the morning in Bombay, in Andheri. The order reached the dark store, the nearest dark store which it got tagged to in 30 seconds. The picker who's going to be running in the aisles, picking your order, is going to take not more than 2.5 minutes to pick all the SKUs.
So, Madhav, he's running or he's walking?
He's running. If you ever visit a 10-minute store. But this is not a 10-minute store, it's a 30-minute store. So it's a 30-minute store where people can enjoy walking, right? Okay. But in a 10-minute store, you'll see people running with baskets actually because they have an IPP target, internal productivity target, on the whiteboard every day and they're awarded and rewarded. So there are 10 pickers. There's a competition every day in a quick commerce dark store. The Ram, Sham, Gansham, 3 pickers. Who's picking the fastest? Who's picking the maximum number of orders in a shift? So very simply, for example, if you ordered a coffee, it's going to scan the article, put it in the basket, take the basket to the packing station. The packer gets not more than 30 seconds to pack the order.
So the picker is different from the packer?
The picker is different from the packer, is different from the loader, is different from the unloader.
Okay. What about the packing material? Does the packer know what material he is to put in the product?
That's the packer. Okay. And the system tells him, if you get an Ashirwad Atta in the order, your packing is a large packing. Correct. Or you don't need a pack for that, right? But if your packing is an ice cream, you may need the insulated packing, right? But if your packing is maybe
the insulated packing, all the ice cream I'm getting are melted.
So all the ice cream you're getting are melted, you need to forward feedback to your friends, right? But I think they have also evolved quite a bit on the cold chain side. They've got insulated, silver lining packaging, all of that. 30 seconds, order receiving, 2.5 minutes, picking and packing. By the 4th minute, your order is already en route. The rider is assigned while the order is being picked.
Correct.
And typically in dark store nomenclature, for every article to be picked, typically the picker should not take more than 16 to 20 seconds.
16 to 20
seconds.
Okay.
But the dark stores are big.
The dark stores are not more than 3,000, 3,500. Large stores maybe 4,000, 4,500. You may also be wondering that a dark store of 3,500 square feet, what is the capacity it can do? It can at max take care of 2,000 orders a day. So square footage divided by 2 is the number of orders it can do per day.
Square footage divided by 2 is the number of orders a dark
store. So if it's a 4,000 square feet dark store, it can do 2,000 orders a day. Okay. That's typically back of the envelope.
Goal. I need to reach 2,000 orders.
That's occupancy. That's occupancy.
What's the per square feet yield you'll be looking at?
4,000 square feet, 2,000 orders a day, 60,000 orders a month. That's how you derive the throughput output per square feet.
Correct. I have a burning question. Literally, I wanted to ask you this is, How come there's no, any pilferage or any sorts of, theft that happens? Because if your dark store is handling, say, expensive electronics, expensive, goods also for that matter.
Sure.
How are the bikers? Because they are like still, basic labor, semi-skilled labor, I would say.
Very
at best.
interesting question. In the dark store, high value items are placed in either a strong room or an almirah, a locked
really?
almirah.
Okay.
Yes. On the route, certain categories are tagged high value. There,
And high
the
value
rider
what kind of categories?
above
TV?
10,000. No. TVs, to 100% high value. Even
Yeah.
phones.
Yeah.
Even maybe a 20,000 rupee AirPod also.
Correct.
Anything which is
So
more.
5,000 rupee, 1 kg protein.
Anything
5
which
kg
is
protein.
more than the weekly payout of the rider is high value.
Okay.
Okay.
Is typically high value. If your average rider earns about 10,000 rupees a week, anything beyond 10,000 is high value because
And
that
the
has
average rider is earning 10,000 a week,
Whole-
not 7, 8, 6,
no,
7,000 a week.
10,000 a week.
10,000 a week.
If a rider in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore is working 12 to 14 hours a day, he can easily earn between 1,200 to 1,500 with a bike, whether it's an EV bike or a petrol
So
bike.
then what happens with the high order value?
So what happens with that high order value is the rider is supposed to go with either a shift in charge or a store manager.
Okay.
It's always 1+1 which goes with a high value order.
Okay.
You never give a high value order to a rider.
But Madhav, tell me something. Then there was that massive conversation during Startup Mahakumbh about India pushing people to become e-commerce delivery boys and quick commerce riders for a basic semi-skilled labor which should have worked in a BPO at best at 22,000 rupees a month, 25,000 rupees a month. 35, 40,000 rupees a month is not looking so bad.
It's not bad at all. And you'll see people, English speaking people earning 60, 70,000 in our entire network at Zippee. Of the 1,000 riders that we have, our highest paid delivery partners are about 70, 80,000 a month. We've also seen 1 lakh months. 3x what a store manager earns.
It's a good job.
It's a job. It's a CTC.
And another thing I wanted to ask you, so we addressed the pilferage question, but what about wastage, breakage? And I'm thinking about this because if I am getting an order and I'm running from there across this aisle, that aisle, around there, and in 16, 20 seconds picking up orders,
Things fall.
there are glass jars, there are all of these things that could break.
You're talking
fall,
smaller
etc.
things. When people are running in the aisles, racks and aisles of racks come tumbling down.
So what happens then?
Nothing happens. That's cost of doing business for a lot of these platforms. Point number one. Point number two, the percentage of these incidents are very low.
What percentage would that be? Less than 1%?
0.02, 0.05. That's the, if you look at the number of units.
Negligible.
Negligible.
What about the insurance part? How do you take care of the insurance with the dark store?
Like if you lose one jar, you don't claim insurance. But if a whole aisle comes tumbling down, you claim insurance.
Do you guys take insurance or how is it like?
So all of our dark stores are completely insured by Zippee.
Okay.
In case our customers have got them insured, then we give them a certificate of facts against which they raise a claim. Otherwise, we insure our dark stores also. And within the dark store, we insure the inventory, the infrastructure, everything which is movable in nature.
Correct.
The land and building is typically done by landlords in India.
So Blinkit and these apps, you have to take a franchise with them, right? You invest upwards of 50 lakhs, 75 lakhs, and then they give you
That's
the
something that I've
inventory.
been actually studying for the last 3 months, and it's evolved in the last 3-4 years.
Blinkit's gone to
So they've
inventory
gone in a
model.
bell curve. So inventory model is different.
Yeah.
In franchisee, they all started with a franchisee model thinking GTM is going to be faster, cheaper,
Because
time
the
to
cost
market,
of
cost of
capex is very high.
So they did franchising, burnt hands, shut down stores, relaunched company operated stores, perfected the entire franchisee model because they're now entering sort of a bearish market in terms of quick com where you'll see the largest platforms stopping store expansion, entering capital markets for money. At this point, the franchisee plans are back. 80 lakh rupee investment, which is interest-free refundable security deposit. The quick commerce platform, without naming them in detail, will set up the entire store for you, install, put in all the inventory, put in their own store manager. Rest of the crew is operated by the franchisee. The store manager is operated by the quick commerce platform. Last mile is anyways owned by them. So they control the operations using a store manager and the last mile fleet. Everything else is done by the franchisee, including the landlord agreement.
Okay. And what about the aging stock? If I'm storing something, it's been more than a month, it's not been moved, from the shelf.
I truly feel anything which is an operational problem within the dark store, whether it's wrong items being sent to customers, orders going with missing items in them, inventory expiring because first in, first out or first expiry, first out was not followed, is all a tech problem and not a people problem because the people operating the show will always be in hundreds and thousands and learning, development and training cannot pace up at that scale.
Correct.
The system needs to block and needs to guide. So I'll tell you in supply chain what happens. 2 packets of Maggi.
Okay.
One expires in Jan, one expires in March.
Okay.
Both those packets cannot be kept on the same shelf. The system cannot allow both those packets to be kept on the same shelf. And when the picker is coming,
the picker should know which one to pick
picker,
up.
the handheld has to tell the picker, bhai, abhi Jan wala inventory utha, March wali mat utha.
Correct.
So he'll automatically go to a different shelf only.
So this decision is being made when you're inwarding the goods for the first time.
He's saying it should be a complete
It's
tech
a
decision.
tech piece.
Tech piece, yeah.
Haan.
Last question that I want to ask you. Talking about all the brands that want to get into quick com, and they'll do anything, donate an arm and a leg to get into the dark store.
Maybe a kidney as well.
Maybe a kidney as well. But what happens if their product does not sell and their product does not move?
Oh, super interesting question. Platforms have become super intelligent. You were addressing a point that Blinkit just spoke about, that we're going inventory led.
Yeah.
Inventory led is just the structure of how brands were selling. 60 days ago and in history, Blinkit used to say that I will list your brand, I will list your product. I have a jacket around the GST. So if I have 100 stores in Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore, when you onboard on me, I will give you 100 dark stores and you have to add your GST in 100 of those dark stores as an additional place of business. That became difficult to scale as a model. You can't license with GST jackets forever at scale, right? So how he's now doing it is, he will onboard a brand, take inventory into his books on an SOR, sale or return model. Either it gets sold to the customers or it goes back at convenience of Blinkit or of Zepto or of Instamart.
And
But
SOR is scary.
SOR is scary because you have control over primary refueling. You don't have control over secondary offtakes.
Correct.
And so you never know your real
Those 10
inventory.
Nutellas can come into the dark store. That's easy. But for those 10 Nutellas to reach Jay's, Arjun's and Madhav's house is not their decision, is not under their control.
Correct.
And this is what you also mentioned when you were building that business, right? Thousands of pieces went down on the ground on those shops
And came back 3 months later.
and 99% of them came back. So that's the problem with new brands
And
working
then
on SORs.
If the product does not sell, one is the product coming back to the brand. The other is Blinkit saying, dude, you occupied space on my shelf and didn't give me sell-through. You're never coming back, right?
You're never coming back.
If you occupy space in a dark store, that is opportunity cost of something else which is in the line.
There's a metric called that. There's a metric for that. It's called shelf turnover ratio. I will only earn money on this dark store if my Nutella comes 10 times and gets sold 10 times.
Correct.
If
So
it stays for
velocity
30,
So velocity of sale is a
absolutely.
crucial metric.
Movement and
And
direction.
even in terms of if Blinkit's placing an order, you need to fulfill to Blinkit as well on time.
Oh, super important. And that's something, thanks to Arjun, that now is a solved problem because I think both VTrans and Zippee are
Yes.
solving that together.
Correct.
It's called quick commerce fulfillment. Any brand operating on quick commerce, Zepto, Blinkit, Instamart, Minutes, BB Now, Amazon Now, replenishing to their mother hubs from whichever city to whichever city
During the time of the appointment given.
during the time of the appointment, super appointment based. Next day, appointment based PO delivery at 50% the cost of whatever it's being incurred currently.
And now we can take the appointments as well.
And today, by the way,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this before we were chatting on this, right? 82 brands on the wait list.
On the wait list.
On the wait list.
It's always been my dream to know what happens when an order is placed, and Madhav
I'll
is going
tell
to
you.
teach me how to fulfill this Ferrero Rocher order for my daughter who loves Ferrero Rocher.
So if Trisha or Aisha want a Ferrero Rocher and they ask you for a Ferrero Rocher and you have no time, as you always don't, so you place that order on, say, a Zepto, Blinkit or Instamart, and the order comes in, you have to first scan the shelf.
Okay, so I'm scanning the shelf now.
Yes.
Okay, that's done. I have
That's
this
done.
with me
Let's
now.
go to the packing station. So here it comes to the packing station. Can we have a carry bag? So this is the carry bag.
Okay.
You input it in the carry bag.
Fancy bag, huh?
Yeah. Yes, you pack it. It goes on the dispatch desk where it's handed over to the next delivery partner. Lovely. Great.
This is cool.
This is cool. Come, guys, I'm going to show you something super interesting. Look at this. It's Rakhi time. And the dark store and this half of this aisle is entirely full of Rakhis.
You should not call it a dark store. You should call it a colorful store now. It's not no
It's
longer
a
dark.
colorful store.
It's
They
no
have,
longer
they have
dark
at
now.
least 200 SKUs, unique SKUs only of Rakhi. And you know, this actually talks about something super important. That festivals in India today are not celebrated on the dining table in the drawing room. They're actually celebrated on quick commerce first.
Yes.
You're buying your holy colors, you're buying your Diwali diyas, you're buying your Rakhis, and I think everything around that. Maybe just crackers are not there.
Yeah.
But like 99 out of 100 SKUs are there on platforms
And
today.
because it's so easy to purchase, they're actually celebrating more.
Are we selling more?
Mother's Day, Father's,
Father's
Day,
Day.
Children's Day, even non-Indian festivals, my portfolio companies in QCom on Valentine's Day are absolutely going crazy.
Karwa Chauth.
Karwa Chauth.
I mean,
What do you need in Karwa Chauth?
yeah, mehndi sticks and
Okay.
mehndi cones and all of those.
Okay.
All of that jazz was never there. I was there in retail markets.
Yeah, retail markets.
Yeah, it was always a task
But
to.
because it's easier to access, the festivals are being celebrated with more pomp.
With more
And we're celebrating more festivals.
We're celebrating more festivals
So who would have thought that the coming of quick commerce makes India celebrate more festivals?
and becomes more culturally strong. Come, I'll take you through the aisles. This entire aisle is Rakis. I'm also seeing it. Entire aisle.
So Madhav, how often do these brands plan for the festival? Like a month?
Oh, so you'll be surprised to know Rakhi planning starts from Holi.
What are you saying?
Diwali planning has already started.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you have to plan. You have to plan supply chain. You have to plan stock. You have to plan cataloging. You have
Those
to
are
plan
big
selection.
moments of sale, right? That's
Very
a
big
spike
moment.
in demand. on the
Very
platform.
big. Interesting.
So, Madhav, I think to end this conversation, what I wanted to ask both of you, since you all are much more closer to the problem, is where is this going? It's just crazy. We're consuming so much more. We're discovering so many more brands. We have access to so many more products. We now have 5 or 6 platforms. So, as a customer, it's a complete party because now I use an aggregation app called Quick Compare to see what's available at what point of
Oh,
time.
is there an
at
app like
price.
this? Is there an
I
app
had
like
no
this?
Compare not
idea.
in.
I had
Oh,
no idea.
I've never heard
I
of
don't
this.
shop on a quick commerce app anymore. I go to this app because
What is this? You need to tell us about this.
so it's like the equivalent of
It's a
Jumble or
jacket on
price
top of-
aggregation app,
Yeah.
which takes the scrapes the inventory across platforms basis your pin code and gives you the best price but also availability.
Sky scanner for QuickCom.
Skyscanner for QuickCom. Now with all of this happening and a massive head-to-head competition of all of the players, where is this space heading?
So I read something very recently in one of the newspapers which said in the quick com segment right now, you need to work as fast as a logistics company, you need to store data and manage data like a data management company, and you need to store like a kirana. You have to have a whole 3 combination of data, speed and availability and or like stock availability. That's exactly I think way to win it probably.
No, I think that said, right? Infra piece, data piece, and I think brands and quick commerce platforms, more platforms than brands, have to be more creative of what the customer needs the next moment.
And so are we seeing quick commerce specific SKUs? Like we see institutional SKUs for modern trade, for airports, for in-flight consumption. Are we now seeing new SKUs made for quick commerce?
We're seeing new categories come up. Gifting is a very big category coming up. Swiggy started pharma with PharmEasy. A lot of mainstream quick fashion, fast fashion is coming on a lot of these quick commerce
And
platforms.
so what about this whole new wave of companies that are quick commerce for? Quick commerce for baby, quick commerce,
Commerce for fashion,
quick commerce for home services.
quick commerce for gifting. Verticalized quick commerce is going to be the flavor for the next 2-3 years. We're witnessing that from the very front row at Zippee because 3 of 5 new platforms coming every quarter are enabled by us. And when I say that, I mean the 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute delivery. And the way these people are thinking is completely different. For them in the head, they're not threatened by the Zeptos, the Blinkits, the Instamarts. Because they believe that there is enough hyperlocal demand for those verticalized categories. And they're all playing on selection, they're all playing on sell-through rates. That's a very big metric in verticalized selection.
So one thing I'm going to ask you, Arjun, because you're a sports enthusiast, why hasn't sports as a category evolved or blasted out in quick commerce? What do you think? What's stopping them?
I think it's growing, but I would say that when I think about quick commerce for, I think of sports like fashion.
Okay.
Which means if I need a pickleball racket or I need a pair of running shoes, I can wait 2, 4, 5, 6 hours. I don't need it tomorrow. But given the way quick commerce works, and like I was in Delhi, I wanted to play pickleball with a friend. I had not carried my sports clothing. And so I looked for what was available in my pin code in Aero City. And I got the option of one white t-shirt and no pairs of shorts.
Yeah. So it's a big unlock.
So that's a white space.
It is a white space.
But you don't know how big of a white space it is.
No, because the challenge is that it's like fashion. In that you need many choices.
You need selection.
The running
Yeah.
shoe
You
that
need
you
selection.
like may not be the running shoe that I like.
Correct.
And
My size may be different from yours.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the 15-minute use case may not be the right use case for
The
sport.
2-hour use case is the best use case. The 2-hour use case with a try and buy with a fast return is perfectly
That
fit.
is where fashion is going.
That's where fashion is going.
The last question I want to ask you on trends is, and we started our conversation with e-commerce being called slow commerce. You have many unicorns in India across verticalized and horizontal e-commerce today. You now have unicorns created in the horizontal Q-com and many players coming in the vertical Q-com as well. With all of this happening, what happens to slow commerce players? Where are they going?
Either they become quicker or they perish. And that's the sad reality. And it's going to be a rude reality check for the largest ones. Amazon, as all of us were just discussing, is not late to the party, is out of the party. The ship has sailed long back, right? Big Basket realized this 6-8 months ago. Minutes realized this 6-8 months ago. Amazon has started realizing this at a time where the top 3 players are sitting on 1,000 stores with money for another 1,000 in the bank.
So innovate or perish.
Innovate with agility or perish. So super interesting conversation, guys. On the 5 a.m. flight that I took this morning to Bombay to see you guys and record this super gripping conversation with you guys, I made a list of 7, 8, 10 points that we need to cover in the next segment before we wrap. Let's do it. Guys, the most exciting part of the conversation, while we spoke about quick commerce, we spoke about how a dark store works. You actually packed one order.
Yeah,
Right.
which I've never done before.
The next part is going to be the Zippee Fire, which is our version of the so-called rapid fire. 5 questions to Jay and 5 questions to Arjun.
Let's do it.
Is it like the coffee with Karan kind of a thing?
It's coffee with Madhav.
Let's call it that. Let's call
It's
it
coffee with Madhav for
Okay.
Zippee Fire.
that. For Zippee
Huh?
Fire.
It's Zippy with Madhav.
It's you have to be zipping with us.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. You're going to 10-minute app.
Blinkit.
Number of quick commerce apps on your phone.
4, I would say. Blinkit, Zepto, Instamart, and Minutes, I would say.
Lovely. Longest tat for a D2C order that ever came to you in the last 3, 4, 5 years.
I would say at least more than a month, I would say. This was Nike. If I were to name the brand, it's Nike. It was stuck in the customs.
So Nike needs to change.
Can I be a little intrusive?
Yeah, for sure.
Most expensive item purchased on quick commerce.
Like the item or like the MRP you're asking?
Both.
Probably would be, the massaging machines that you get, the recovery machines.
Massage guns.
Yeah, massage guns. I bought it on one of the apps, I would say. I think it was upwards of 4,000 rupees.
Have you ever been through a trashy experience where the 6-minute tat on the phone drags through its life cycle of being 6 minutes for a continuous period of 15 minutes and you're in half a mood to cancel that order?
Fortunately, it's never happened.
Lucky you. It's happened to me all the time.
Yeah, it's happened with me as well. But he's been fortunate on that front.
Lucky.
Arjun, 5 questions for you. Go to 10-minute app.
Whichever is the cheapest.
Because you have a jacket, you have a
I
sky
have
scanner for quick commerce. Average number of quick com orders placed in a week.
5.
Wildest thing you've ever bought in quick com.
I think the coolest thing I've done is print my daughter's photos for her UK visa appointment. It's not wild, but it was amazing that I was able to do that.
Because if you actually think back in time, that wasn't never possible.
I would
You
just
have to
delay it and
actually
delay
go
it and
delayed
delay
and
it.
delayed and then go to a studio,
Yeah.
get it. And I remember those times where you go to the studio, get those pictures clicked and pick them up the next day. Right? That was life once upon a time.
And life is this now.
Life is this now. Let's roll back in time. We're in the summers of 2020, in the pre-COVID era. You're throwing a dinner where I may or may not be invited. And you need a pack of Sepoy or Bartisans. Where would you get them from?
The local Kirana store, which may or may not have stock at that time. Then go to the next store and the next store till you find it. And maybe my guess would not have access to any mixers that day.
Maybe they'd be having something with water. Quite a random one. How many addresses on the Blinkit app? You got to open your Blinkit app, check the addresses and see how many addresses do you have saved on the Blinkit app.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is my hotel in Aero City that I ordered this weekend.
Which is also an address because you transact.
It's a multi-city address he has.
Because the last white t-shirt you bought in Aero City was from Blinkit
Actually, protein bar.
and protein bar. Do you allow me to be a little intrusive?
Yeah, go for
What's
it.
the most expensive product you've bought in quick commerce?
I wish I would be that customer that bought an iPhone, but I didn't. I think the most expensive product I bought is protein powder. So maybe 4,000,
3, 4, 5,000 bucks. Thank you for the conversation, guys. Thank you for making it.
Our pleasure.
A super rainy day in the Bombay monsoon, and you guys were able to make it around 8:30, 9 a.m.
The
And
next thing I want to do is work one day in a dark store. If I
Then-
can work with Madhav in the dark store, that will be exciting.
We can have different roles, you know.
we're gonna So
I'll be the
I'll be
biker.
the delivery boy.
Okay, you'll be the delivery.
You'll be
boy.
the picker.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be the packer.
Why do I get the easiest job? I want to be the picker. I want to run through the aisles and pick up orders.
Okay, so he's the fitness guy.
Yeah,
He's going to be
yeah,
running. You'll be the
yeah.
packer.
Correct.
And I'm the rider.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys.